Good morning, everyone. It is Friday here on a beautiful day around Orange County and beyond, and we got some rain in the forecast. I'll tell you about that in just a moment. On our show today, Maggie Blackwell-Hill from United, and she's going to give a report on many different things, including the governing documents. Also, Dan Oweiler is coming by, Sterling Financial Advisors. He's going to talk about a college fund, 529. And is it a good thing to start? When you should, the tax implications, you know, you folks have, you may already had started one years ago for a grandchild. He'll tell you how to manage that. It's very interesting. Also, we have from Alzheimer's Orange County, Dan Daly, and he's going to be talking about some events that are coming up with them. And we're going to bring you the Globe segment. We didn't have time yesterday for it, so we're going to bring that to you today. Now, as far as meetings go today, there is one. Third has their agenda prep meeting. That will be in the Sycamore Room at 9:30. Now let's get to the weather. We got another round of rain coming your way. Now today we're going to be mostly sunny. We might have a few scattered clouds. Really, the way it's going to work is sunny as we get to the late afternoon. We'll start to see, and then the evening, some clouds start to come in and get increasingly cloudy. Now the system that is coming in for Saturday may reach here very, very late tonight, meaning 10:30, after 10:30 at least, maybe not even till after midnight. And then the scattered showers will go on all the way to probably maybe, it should be out of here by 11 o'clock, 11:30 in the morning. This is not a big system, mostly an overnight system. It could linger around, but if so, maybe not even till much past noon. Then we'll start to see a little bit of sun and clearing coming in. And then Sunday, we're looking at kind of the same type of thing. These two systems shouldn't produce a lot of rain, but it could be scattered throughout, on Sunday, throughout most of the day. On Sunday, we're looking more about in the morning to maybe the afternoon or so. Then we begin to clear up, partly cloudy on Monday and Tuesday. And then going into next week, we're looking at that bigger system coming in, not a real long system. In other words, you know, where we had 3 days of rain last week, basically. The system coming in on probably late Wednesday into Thursday is going to be a pretty powerful system, but it's not going to stay around very long. So as we get into next week, we'll tell you more about that. Now let's look around California. And you know, the thing is with this rain coming in, we've got rain and snow pretty much everywhere. And even up in the North Coast in Eureka, they could get a little bit of snow up there. Mostly rainy around the state. Again, just like down here, scattered showers. In fact, right now, if you're watching us here in the morning, that rain is north of San Luis Obispo. They're already getting a little rain up there along the north coast, and that'll start to work its way down here, meaning the north coast areas, the northern part of the state, will be a little bit clearer on Sunday than we will. Heavy snow expected once again in Tahoe, Mammoth, and even up there in Big Bear. This has been, you know, down here for sure, our local mountains. This has been, they were saying on the news this morning, almost a record year. It's been 10 years since they've gotten this amount of snow in this short amount of time. And of course, up in the Sierras, they have gotten a tremendous amount. I mean, in some cases, several feet in just one day. So this is all really good news, the amount of snow and rain that we're getting throughout the state. All right, we'll be back in just a moment. Hey Laguna Woods, it's Ken.
And Lisa.
Did you miss an episode of This Day? Not to worry. Head over to youtube.com and search Village Television.
Here you can find each episode of This Day and other community programs such as Good Day OC, Discovering Laguna Woods, and much more.
Just click the red subscribe button, then click the bell to be emailed every time we upload a video.
Don't miss out.
And subscribe today.
Hi, I'm Brian Rott, President and CEO of Cartmart here in Laguna Woods. My family's been in the golf cart business since 1959, and we win our customers over with the simple belief of we treat you right. We are proud to be the authorized dealer for Club Car here in Orange County and your go-to source for the sales and service to other major brands. We're conveniently located on El Toro Road, just minutes from Laguna Woods. So come by and see for yourself, while when doing business with Cartmart, there's no reason to go anywhere else.
I just love that ring. Where'd you get it?
I got it at the Jewelry Box. I saw it on Facebook, and then I went in and bought it. They have the most unique, awesome pre-owned pieces for amazing prices.
The Jewelry Box of Lake Forest, voted best jewelry store in Orange County for 8 straight years, offering unmatched prices on fine jewelry and watches, refurbished to new condition.
Visit us in our store or shop our website for just arrived items.
The Jewelry Box. It's about trust.
Looking for a change of scenery? You don't have to play golf to enjoy all that 19 Restaurant and Lounge has to offer. From a delicious breakfast menu to our delectable lunch and dinner specials. At 19 Restaurant and Lounge, there is something for everyone. Relax with your friends and family and take in the beautiful view from our spacious patio. Or enjoy a cocktail and appetizer in our lounge. 19 Restaurant and Lounge is a great place to socialize, enjoy a meal, or simply take in the view. Join us 7 days a week and experience Laguna Woods' exclusive dining experience.
And with me today from United is their board secretary, Maggie Blackwell. Maggie, welcome.
Thank you.
Good to see you.
Good to see you. And today I'm going to talk about governing documents. The committee this time is talking about a canvassing policy. Now, this is a new law that was passed and is effective January this year, so we have to follow it. Prior canvassing rules have been under the Recreation Department. And if you wanted to do it, canvassing means something like you want to talk to people, stop them one-on-one on the street to talk, or you want to approach someone, or you want to put something at their manor.
Okay.
And the prior rules are still in effect, but we have to modify them slightly.
Okay.
The prior rules allowed for laundry rooms, for example. A candidate could put up a half a page size, one half. In fact, this is not only for candidates, this is for anyone who puts up something in the laundry room. That's any church or any committee or any board or anything. It has to be half a page. It has to have the name of the sponsor or the person who's putting the notice up. And of course, it has to tell the information it wants. You can only have one of those for 1 month up in a laundry room, each laundry room. Now, in the past, some candidates have gone wild and crazy, and they've done full-page things, and they've stuck them over other people's material, and some people have removed other people's material. That's not right. And so that's a violation of our policy. But now with the new law, there is more that you can do. You could always put a flyer out, one flyer per candidate per year, one flyer out at each person's door. And then you had to slip it under the patio door there, or you put it at the threshold.
Right.
And maybe you have to, if it's windy, you have to tuck it under the corner of the mat out there. You can never put such a thing inside the mailbox.
Right.
Because that's a federal offense. You can't do that. You can't leave things in people's mailboxes or take anything out of any mailbox. So you can't do that. But now, because more people are interested, I guess they got to the legislature and they decided they must allow people to express their views in the community. So you can hold maybe meetings here and meetings there inside the community to express your opinions.
Let me clarify. Are you talking about residents, or are you talking about people outside the community? Let's say you mentioned a candidate running for the Orange County Supervisor office. You have to let one of their campaigners in and drop off things?
Well, this is for, you have to allow that.
Okay.
But you have to have things, now according to the rules, you have to allow people to approach and knock at the door unless you have a no solicitation sign on there or a do not disturb. They can knock at your door. People can, this is for outside people or for inside, because we have elections coming up, of course, again. But they can stand outside the clubhouses and interact with you. They're not supposed to chase you down. They're not supposed to harass you, and so on. We have had some directors in the past who were handing out a voting list suggestion or whatever, who kind of chased people down and followed them, you know how it is, chasing and yelling in your ear, and people were highly offended. That is still not allowed. You cannot harass people. But you can benignly stand there and hand out a flyer of some kind, but that also has to have the name of the sponsor and the name of the candidate or the issue they want. You can't just come in and start handing things out. You cannot leave them in the clubhouse anywhere. You can't just throw them on the table of every meeting that's in the clubhouse and run out the door. So you have to hand it to people, and you have to not harass people. And it should be only once for us so far. We can regulate this. We can regulate the knocking on the doors and so on, because our residents don't like the disturbance. A lot of them are not well, and they worry about it with the knocking on the door. So according to the law, the person can opt out, but VMS, or rather GRF, was considering, well, what kind of official sign could we make? Well, they really don't need an official sign to say, do not disturb. That should be everyone's right to put out a do not disturb sign, because there are people who are not well. There are people who don't like it. Some people don't, you can't say just Republicans only or Democrats only. You just can't do that. It'd be a furor in the community. So each resident should have the right. We just have to regulate where. I would say within a foot of the door and maybe waist high or above, so that the person who's walking in the gate can actually say. Now, you didn't used to be able to walk into a closed gate. Under the new rules, I don't know. But in past, when we've delivered flyers, if the gate was closed, not locked, if the gate was closed, you did not enter that part.
Okay.
So what the new rules are about that, I don't know. But
okay, so the people who come in from outside the community, candidate, do they need to check in first, and then are you saying, well, they must be allowed to come into the community?
Yeah, they will have to be allowed to come into the community, but they have to check in first.
Okay, all right.
Everything that goes out and around should be explained to our security so they know what's going on, and to the village, because we want. The signs must be honored. They were talking about, well, the resident can only have a sign that is official. It can only be an inch this wide, and it must have our logo on it. And really, the resident doesn't need anything like that. If the resident does not want someone approaching their door, they can do the same thing that anyone outside can do, which is put up a little sign. They say 3 by 5, and that's fine. Anything smaller than that. You can buy no solicitation and do not disturb signs, just a little one, and attach it somewhere near your door. They'll make up a rule for that. But do not disturb, you can even put leave no flyers on there. So it's your right to be disturbed or not.
Okay.
But they do have a right to hold meetings and to put out information in the community. And they were thinking of it from the candidates.
Yeah.
Right, to free speech. but the candidate's right to free speech doesn't override somebody else's right to privacy or to not be disturbed.
Okay.
So it's a fine line, and I'm sure there'll be uproars because a lot of people don't want their community areas taken over by somebody from the other party or whatever. You know, it's very, you have to balance, we have to weigh, and we do have to regulate. We'll have to say you can canvas at the clubhouses and doors only like 9 to 4 or 9 to 5 or something like that. And the size and content of things must be checked. Now those are all under recreation currently, and I'm sure they will be soon also, but the mutuals have the housing. So what goes on in the clubhouses and things will be different from what the mutuals have.
Okay. All right.
So that's right. The other issue we're going to talk about today is a new caregiver policy. In the state has 51.3 is the state law for California that allows senior communities, and it's very express on who can live here. It's 51.3 is to allow accessible housing for senior citizens. And so they say a qualified permanent resident means a person who meets both of the following requirements. You're residing with the senior citizen, or you are a spouse of the senior citizen, or a qualifying resident or senior citizen, and then the senior citizen passes, then you can stay for a certain amount of time. A qualified permanent resident can be also a person who is a child or grandchild of a senior citizen who needs to live with a senior citizen or qualified permanent resident. That means somebody who is a child who is disabled and needs the parents' care throughout their life. That person may come. Otherwise, they need everyone who lives in this community needs our authorization of the board.
Okay.
And they have to fall into certain categories. We have the age requirement. This is specific, 55 years or older in a senior city housing development. Otherwise, you can be a spouse or a domestic partner within this section 297 of the Family Code. That's a cohabitant.
Okay.
That is spouse or domestic partners. That's not anybody. A permitted health care resident, as the law stands now, means a person hired to provide live-in long-term or terminal health care to a qualifying resident. It can be also a family member of the qualifying resident, and this is true as the law exists right now. The care provided by a permanent health care resident must be substantial in nature and provide either assistance with necessary daily activities or medical treatment or both. So this is what the law says: substantial and necessary daily activities or medical treatment or both. Well, we have people in the community who need caregivers, but they don't. Some people need caregivers, medical caregivers, because they need medicines and they need therapy and things like that. But there are two types of activities for daily living. The one that falls under the medical exception for allowing a resident, a live-in person here, is if I call them a client because basically that's what the resident would be the client. If the client needs personal hygiene help, continence management help, dressing or feeding, emulating, or toileting help, then they can have a residential caregiver. That's basically under 51.3. But a lot of our people are elderly and not that disabled, but they need companionship and support. transportation and shopping. You need someone to prepare their meals and manage their household, because otherwise things get lost and who knows what happens there. Managing medications and finances, and communicating with others, because they're not good on the phone. They can't remember how to dial the phone. They can't. Of course, one doesn't have to dial anymore. I guess you can just.
Right.
But so we are working on a caregiver policy that opens it up a little bit, but doesn't throw it open, because we can't just have the children of a senior citizen living here saying they're caregivers and then going to the pool or going to the clubhouse or doing whatever, and just as residents, or we lose our 51.3 status as a senior community. So we have to say that they have to be with the client most of the time. I mean, you can't say, I'm a caregiver, and here you are off here, and the client is out in the golf course.
Right.
That's not a need in either direction. So you have to show that you have a need. You don't have to get the doctor's approval anymore, because the theory is, but I don't believe it, that a doctor will sign anybody's application out of fear of being sued. Well, if we allow anyone in out of fear of being sued, if they need a caregiver, then what is our protection? We have no right. So we have to require certain things. So we're going to consider this policy where a private caregiver can come in for the companionship, mental support, transportation, preparing meals, that kind of thing. And they have to register with us. They have to have the caregiver permit from the state. They do not have to have the medical requirement of the doctor's okay. The resident doesn't have to pay for your services, because it can be a family member. Your room and board, of course, your room there would be your service payments for many people. But we have to have a handle on who is living in the community. And so we are having them register here, and they will have to have an ID card, and they have to re-register every year, and we check. And if there are complaints, they cannot be in one of the facilities without the presence of their client.
All right.
Okay.
All right, very good. Thank you for the update. We appreciate it, and we'll see you next time.
Okay, thank you very much.
Living and learning in Laguna Woods Village is a unique experience. For over 40 years, the Emeritus Institute has provided tuition-free college classes within your community. Join us to experience expert faculty, quality academics, and to make new friends through the Emeritus Institute. New classes start every semester, and you can join nearly any time. Visit our office at Clubhouse 4 or anytime at saddleback.edu/emeritus. Learn, live, and thrive with the Emeritus Institute.
Have you or a loved one been diagnosed with mild cognitive impairment due to Alzheimer's disease or mild dementia? Are you looking for new options for the symptoms of cognitive impairment? If you are 55 to 85 years of age and have been experiencing mild to moderate memory loss, you may qualify for a clinical research study. Irvine Clinical Research is seeking volunteers to test the effectiveness of a non-surgical therapy device. For more information and to see if you qualify, call 949-577-7415 or visit renewstudy.com.
Through my window, I see the first sunlight, and I feel the warm ocean breeze. I see the waves that lulled me all night. That's what my window brings me.
Look at this.
That view is $1 million.
It's amazing. We can look at these kinds of places within our budget.
You don't have a bad view from here anywhere you look.
It's all about the view. Sunday night is beach night. Sunday night at 8, only on HGTV.
I started Sterling Financial under the premise that there was a need for integrity in this industry as well as quality service.
There's such volatility in the stock market. One day it could be up 100 points, the next day it could be down 500 points. Well, what we like to do is be able to have people go to bed and wake up the next morning knowing that their money is safe and secure.
That's what we try to do here at Sterling Financial Advisors, is to create peace of mind and quality of life in retirement.
Welcome back. Dan Ohlweiler is with me, and we are talking about something I think can be confusing to people.
Okay.
And I think the reason is that we're talking about the 529 college saving plans.
Right.
And I think the confusing part of plans like this is, what is the tax implications? What if I do it wrong? How can the money be used?
Right.
Or not be used?
Right.
When can the child, after they get through college, how can they draw on this? Suppose they need the money quicker.
Right.
That's the confusing part. So welcome, by the way.
Oh, good to be here.
Yes.
Nice sunny day today.
Nice sunny day for now.
For now, my yard needs to dry out.
Yeah.
Yes,
I think so.
We need the rain, but it'd be nice to. My weeds are enjoying it.
Yeah, tell me about it, yes. Yeah, I've noticed that too.
But it's kind of like people are familiar with HSA accounts, health savings accounts, where you can donate in the health savings account and then use that for any medical expenses or things like that. The 529 education plans are much like HSA, yet for college educations.
Okay.
And so parents or grandparents or anyone can contribute into a 529 plan in California. Okay. And the limit on that is $15,000 per person per year.
Okay.
A couple can donate $30,000.
Okay.
Okay. So
even if it's to one account.
To one account for one person.
Okay.
Okay. So
got it.
So it's kind of matches what the gift allowances are during the year. A husband and wife can just gift $30,000 to a child or whatever they want to do. This, we're putting it into a 529 plan. Why would we do that? Well, if the child ends up going to college, all of the growth in that plan will accumulate tax-free.
Okay.
Okay, so if we put in $30,000, let's say, and it grows to $50,000 by the time the child goes to college, they can use that $50,000. They don't have to pay taxes on it as long as it's used for college expenses.
Okay.
Okay, so the problem with just gifting the money to the kids under the Uniform Gift to Minors Act or things like that is it's non-revocable. Well, if you've got 3 or 4 kids, and I use the term in my seminars, if one of them's an idiot, okay, and decides not to go to college, you can switch the names, the beneficiaries.
Okay.
So it's not irrevocable. So if one child decides to go to college and another one doesn't, you can put the name of the child that decided to go to college on that. They can use the funds for that.
Okay. What about, let's say, kind of the scenario you gave, 30,000, whatever the amount is.
Right.
And it must be used for college.
And that can be for tuition, books, housing.
Okay.
Those types of things.
Okay, so
has to be college related. You can't just rent an apartment for somebody near a college.
Okay.
And have them living.
Now, any college, like community college?
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
And does it have to be spread out over a certain amount of time? Or if they go to college for 1 year and
they're going to spend $50,000 in 1 year, possibly.
Well, certain colleges,
if they're at Stanford or something like that, as long as they're using it for college expenses, they don't have to pay taxes on it.
Okay, and if they don't, can they still get the money but then pay taxes on it?
Yeah, you have to pay taxes on that.
Okay.
Yeah, if you could take the money out and pay taxes, or they could, or whatever, but if it's not used for college funding, then it's taxable to the individual.
Okay. Now, what if you put that money in and 2-3 years later, you as the parents, let's say the kid is 12 years old, they get into high school, maybe it has nothing to do with their education, but all of a sudden you as the parents have something major happening, you're like,
you need the money?
We need the money. We need that money.
You can pay taxes on it.
Okay, but you can take it back.
Oh,
and
sure.
then you pay taxes.
Yeah.
Now, when you put the money in, is it taxable at that point, or is it, I guess I should say, is it pre-tax?
It's not tax deductible.
It's not tax deductible.
It's not tax deductible.
Because it's coming off the other end, the back end.
Right.
Okay.
But one of the things, you know, sometimes you have wealthy grandparents or something that want to help fund their grandchildren's education. They can put money in there, but if the grandchild at age 5, at age 15 or 16 decides, I want to go do art or whatever it is, I don't want to go to college, they're not locked into that.
Okay.
So they can get that money and give it to a different grandchild, or whatever that might be. Now, interestingly enough, the government does allow you to actually fund 5 years in advance if you want to. Okay. So you have a couple that can contribute $30,000 to one child. Technically, they could put in $150,000 into this 529 plan. Okay.
Right. Over 5 years, or that very first year?
That very first year. They can put it in that year, but they can't give money to that child over the next 5 years because you've maxed out the gift amount.
Right, but the advantage is you have if you have that kind of money, it's now growing.
Tax-free.
Yeah.
Right.
Wow,
interesting.
interesting.
Some kids, you know, might end up going to Stanford where it costs them $50,000, $75,000 a year, you know, whatever it might be. But if you put it in at age 5 and it can grow to $300,000 by the time they're 18, it might be worthwhile. And so there's opportunities there that, and not only that, can parents put in the money, grandparents could also add to that as well.
Okay, wow.
So if parents put in $30,000, grandparents can put in $30,000, you know, and that can grow, you know, for the next 15 years.
Now, what if the child, they graduate high school, and they decide, hey, I definitely want to go to college, but I'm going to put it off for a couple years. I want to travel. I want to do this. How long can that be held? Indefinitely?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. There's no time frame as to.
I didn't know if it's like you got to use it within a certain amount of time.
It's in that account, and as long as it's being used for college education, it's tax-free.
Okay. Now, what about the investment part of this, where obviously you want something, you know, fairly safe. If you're looking at least I would.
Yeah,
you know,
we have all spectrums. Let's grow this as fast as we can.
Right.
And when you do that, that adds some risk.
Like any investment.
Like any investment.
Okay.
You know, but generally speaking, you're probably going to be in some type of balanced mutual fund or something like that.
Okay.
That kind of is not on the high side of the risk, but not in money market account.
Yeah.
You know, so there's some fluctuations, maybe not as much of an aggressive growth mutual fund might be, but a little bit more conservative than that. So it's an opportunity to say, hey, I want to do more than just sticking it in the bank earning 0.5% or 1%, but I don't want to be aggressive to where I'm going to end up losing the money either.
Right.
So there's some opportunities to do a little bit better than the bank, but you don't want to get too aggressive and end up having a stock market crash right before their 18th birthday and they're ready to go to college. You know.
I certainly I get that. I mean, there's, again, like with anything, if you started it later in their life, meaning they're just about ready to go into high school.
You'd be surprised,
Ken,
how many people come in to talk to us about their investments and things, and many of them have 529 plans for grandchildren or whatever. You know, and so it's becoming much more popular as people understand that, hey, we want to give money to our grandkids for college education. This is a good way to do that and to build that on a tax-free basis rather than just giving it to them.
Yeah.
You know, so there's an opportunity to do some planning in that regard.
Now, can you take, as long as you don't go over that amount, Can you do it where every month you're contributing, kind of an automatic thing out of one account to another?
If it's much more budget-wise,
Right.
it's a lot easier for me to put in $500 a month towards my kids' education. Yeah, there's no restrictions that you have to do it in a lump sum or anything like that. But you can't go over that $15,000 a year per individual, per person.
Okay.
So, but if you have 3 kids, technically, each of you could give $30,000 to each of the kids.
Yeah.
Or you could give $150,000 to each of the kids if you've got that kind of cash flow.
Yeah.
Okay. Most of us don't have $500,000 for 3 kids that we could fund it all at once.
Yeah.
And so, but you know, technically, there's some opportunities for maybe grandparents to help out.
Yeah. Very good. Yeah, that's good because I've heard of these and I was never quite sure exactly how they work and don't work.
People understand what they call the Uniform Gift to Minors Acts and some of the other plans, but they're much more restrictive in regards to the 529. 529, you can change beneficiaries. If they decide not to go to college, you can pay the tax on it anyway and get the money back. And so there's opportunities that you can do that don't lock you into irrevocable situation.
Okay, so once again, though, you pay it's not a tax deduction to start it.
It's after-tax contributions.
Okay, so let's say you put in $10,000 or whatever it is, and you decide to take that back. Now, you're paying taxes on the growth of it.
Correct.
Right,
correct.
Right, where if it goes to your child, you're not paying taxes on the growth. Okay.
Correct.
Very good. Great information.
Good, good.
All right, so I'll go home and look at my bank account for my daughter. And
no, talk to your in-laws or your parents and just tell them to fund it.
Yeah, there you go. That's the best way to do it. Dan, thank you very much. If you'd like more information, you want to talk about 529s, maybe annuities or just whatever, you're retiring, how to do this.
The market's been a little bit dicey these days.
Yeah,
you know?
This man and his team can help you out. So sterlingfa.com, or you may call 949-859-8900 and let us know if you're going to have any seminars coming up soon.
We have some, they're on our website.
Okay.
We actually had one last night. We hold all of our seminars at Ruth Chris in Irvine, so it's a nice meal, but hopefully they're coming for the information, not just the steak.
Right. Okay. Take care. Say hi to everyone.
Good to see you.
We'll be right back.
At Diane's Hallmark, we're ready for Valentine's Day. Are you? Come in and see our great selection of cards and gifts. We have everything you need to show that special someone how much you care. And don't forget those grandkids either. Diane's Hallmark has many gifts and cards for them as well. Diane's Hallmark is located in the town center, right next to Hobby Lobby. Come in today and take care of all of your Valentine's Day needs.
Hi, everybody. I'm Sean Thomas. Sports Talk. Come join me here every Thursday morning at 11:30 a.m. for sports news, highlights, and interviews for all of Laguna Woods and around the world. Put it on your calendar. It's a great way to start your day with me and the Sports Talk way.
Where can you see the greatest names in golf? Still making a name for themselves? Orange County's only PGA Tour Champions event returns as the Hogue Classic. Catch the legends of the PGA Tour at Newport Beach Country Club March 6th through the 10th and help Hogue Hospital give back to the health and vitality of our community in Southern California. Also, come visit the Hogue Health Village presented by Blue Shield of California to partake in games, giveaways, and informational health talks. Tickets available now at HogueClassic.com.
me today is Dan Daly of the Alzheimer's Orange County, and he is going to be talking about a few different things. They're going to be having a meeting coming up on Monday, February 11th, the OC Club here, the Alzheimer's OC Club, and that will be at 10 o'clock and at the Performing Arts Center. So today we're going to be talking about a few different things. Brain exercises, socialization, all kinds of different things.
Yeah, well, first of all, thank you, Ken, for inviting me again. It's always a pleasure to be here. We're starting off this month in March with the Brain Health Series, and that's going to be conducted by Cognitive Care Solutions, and Allison Lerick, she'll be the facilitator. So essentially what we want to do with the brain exercises is going to be 8 different categories of skill sets that she's going to address during the class. And first and foremost, the importance of the brain exercises is that you're going to get increased blood flow to the brain, which in turn makes the brain healthier and more active. And a good example would be its positive effect on memory. As a result of any type of brain exercise, your memory is going to improve.
Right.
And these would be things like names, dates, activities, and events. And it's also going to then filter into other areas of the other facets of the brain, such as problem solving, attention, and things like that. And she's going to focus on each of those areas. And the importance of it, is, again, is a healthy brain. A stronger brain is going to last longer. It's basically the same. So that's the area that she's going to be covering. Now, in addition to that, we're expecting anywhere from 25 to 30 people. So we are always trying to increase the attendance at these meetings. And this particular meeting is one of the more popular ones we had last year.
Okay.
So a byproduct of this and a benefit of these meetings in these exercises is you have the socialization aspect. So there's a lot of interaction between Allison and the attendees during the class. So she's constantly asking questions, asking for their input, and she will bring out a particular exercise, and there's a lot of interchange with the attendees. So on the socialization side of it, they are going to increase their network of friends. So there's going to be a lot of people in there, a lot of residents who they may not know one another, but yet they share a common modality, and that might be a concern over memory, or it could be over problem solving.
Okay.
So that's very important.
And you know, one of the notes you put down here is how consistency, of course, is key. And I've heard that, you know, you've got to keep this up. But you know, I know that you have worked with Dr. Trin and all that, and it's, you know, what he always stresses is you got to get to this soon, because if you go past a certain mark, it's almost impossible to come back again.
No question about it. The consistency is the key.
Yeah.
And even though the brain isn't a muscle, it acts like a muscle. So if you don't use it, you're going to lose it. So in the process of these exercises, you're going to have an increase as far as your attention span.
Right.
You're going to have a feeling of accomplishment at the end of these exercises, and it's going to build a lot of self-confidence.
Okay.
But immediately when somebody detects that they can't remember the name of their barber or their baker or Ken, when they run into Ken, that's usually a sign that something is starting to slip away. So that's why it's important to address these issues immediately. Now, sometimes that memory challenge, it could be age-related, or it could be something to do with medication. That's why when you go to see your physician on an annual basis, the commonly asked question of that physician will be, I prescribed this medication for you. Have you noticed any of the following side effects?
Right.
And usually memory is at the top of the list.
Okay. Yeah, that's a very good point.
Yeah, so the efficacy of the medication sometimes can be segued into a deleterious side effect, which you don't want.
Right, and that's something that if you can pinpoint, well, that's solved.
Yeah, and I also might add, sometimes you have families, they mask a problem in its infancy.
Okay.
Or they will say, well, you know, Dad is older now and he's getting forgetful, and that's the worst mistake they can make. It might not be just senility, as that used to be the description applied to Alzheimer's. So the sooner they can get involved and that individual can get to the primary care physician, the better. So Dr. Trinh is 100% correct in that.
Right, and I know, you know, just from what he said, it's the type of forgetfulness. I mean, we all forget certain things throughout our daily lives. I mean,
absolutely.
In your mid-20s, you can forget. But it's like, as you said, family members and things like that. And, you know, you might forget a name of, you run across somebody you knew, you haven't seen them for 5-6 years.
Exactly.
You know, you're like, well, God, what was that guy's name? Okay, we all do that. But it's like you said, family members, people who've been a part of your life for years, that all of a sudden you begin to forget things like that, or, you know, just how to get somewhere that you've gone to 100 times.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I would say the #1 sign, though, is recently learned information that can't be recalled.
Okay.
That's the short-term memory loss, and that is usually a very accurate description.
Okay.
And what is happening is they can't remember what they had for dinner last night.
Okay.
That's a very positive sign that there's something going wrong there.
Okay.
So that's something that families should be well tuned into.
What did I have for dinner last night? Oh yeah, I remember.
I know what I had. It was spaghetti, and it was really good.
There you go. There you go. Let me ask you another part to that, though. We got just a minute left.
Sure.
Is for many people, their lives are just in general being bombarded by so much more information than what it used to be. And you just become lost in that anyway, and you might forget certain things. But it's just, sometimes you're just trying to remember this and this and this, but you're talking about very specific things.
Right,
okay.
Right. I mean, we're all multitasking to a certain degree, and there are going to be things you're going to forget.
Yeah.
I mean, you can write them down, you're still going to forget them.
Yeah, that's true, that's true.
So you got to keep a list of priorities mentally.
Okay.
But the key is to keep that brain active.
All right, so this meeting again is Monday at the Performing Arts Center at 10 o'clock, and you're invited to go. There's no cost to attend. If you can do that, I certainly recommend it. They always put on a good meeting. Stan, thank you very much.
Great to see you again, Ken. Thank
All right.
you. And Adapt to It will be providing the refreshments, and they do a great job.
They're great people. All right, folks, we're going to bring you that Globe segment right now.
Welcome back. Again, we get to see Erica Ritchie, and she is with the Orange County Register, but now she's representing us for the Globe headlines. Well, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Nice to have you back. I'm sorry you couldn't make it in last week, but it sounds like you did some exciting stuff last week, which we'll talk about later.
Yes.
So what do you have this time for the Globe?
So one of our featured stories this week is a story on a group of women who are all named Barbara. And they met at Laguna Woods Village Clubhouse 1, and they dress in pink spandex, kind of as a tribute to Barbie. Okay. And the club is made up of now 65 women, all named Barbara. That's a criteria for being able to join. And they get together for laughter, yoga, and go out to dinner. And they also, at their first meeting, they had only 13 women named Barbara, and by now the count of Barbaras in the group is up to 65.
Isn't that funny? You know, Barbara was such a popular name way back then, and now I have not met a Barbara that's not of a particular age like that. Have you?
No, I actually don't know any Barbaras.
I don't think I do either personally. So, but isn't that cute? They all get together and have some fun.
Yeah, and they wear pink spandex and
pink shirts and having fun.
Yeah, and like to look like Barbie.
I guess we all like to look like Barbie. All right, so what else do you have? Oh, cannabis.
Yes,
New cannabis laws.
So at the, well actually, first, the Golden Rain Foundation, this is kind of good news, I would imagine, for those in the community who are interested in fitness. So the Golden Rain Foundation eliminated the fees for the pool and also the fitness room. So instead of paying $6 per person and $3, so $6 in the fitness room, $3 at the pool, residents now will no longer have to pay that. And as far as its report, the Golden Rain Foundation found out that it's the revenues from its fitness center in 2018 was $6,000, and so the board decided that the amount of paperwork required, though, to collect the check-in process was, and the labor costs for the upkeep of that was overriding the money brought in from the guest fees. So they've decided to go ahead and eliminate that, which is good news, I would imagine, for those in the community who use the facilities.
Yes. Yes, definitely.
So to the cannabis. So with cannabis now legal in California, you would think it might be easier to maintain or obtain medical marijuana in Laguna Woods, but one of our reporters at the Register, Brooke Staggs, recently wrote a story that said that is not so. As of January 9th, all marijuana collectives in California had to either have all the necessary state and community licenses needed to operate as a cannabis retailer or shut down. Because cannabis businesses aren't allowed in Laguna Woods, the deadline meant that the demise of resident Lonnie Painter's 10-year-old collective meant that Lonnie Painter's 10-year-old collective had to close down. Painter, for a decade, has put on cannabis information workshops and offered one-on-one advice, sold marijuana products to about 1,000 residents who joined the collective in that time period.
Oh, I see. Huh. Well, that's interesting. Wow, I didn't know that they did that. I actually didn't know that you could do that, but I guess you can. I mean, it's
apparently the January 9 deadline kicked in and Painter was forced to shut down, and seniors now sadly are left with no local option to get marijuana.
Wow, okay. Well,
and have to use outside delivery services. I guess that's an option for them to consider moving forward. Also, and I guess that's particularly resonates with the fact that Laguna Woods was the first community in Orange County to be able to sell marijuana legally for medical purposes, and now this is kind of a bummer for the community not to be able to do that.
At one point they had buses that would take them to the Bud and Bloom, so maybe that's still going to be an option, but I don't really know.
Yeah, I'm not sure about. I know that yes, that they will have to look for like delivery services from other areas and so forth. But yeah, that is unfortunate about that. But readers can check out the Laguna Woods Globe today and see more details about the story.
Okay, perfect. And you have a Globe columnist, Ellen Van Houten.
Right. Yeah, she writes about the removal of cursive writing from the Common Core state standards for elementary schools.
Oh, boy.
That's kind of crazy.
I think so. I guess we're not really writing very much. I mean, obviously, we now do mostly things on computers.
Yeah. Yeah, and with kids now, being online and on their smartphones, there doesn't seem to be a lot of ability or opportunity for that. One wonders what will happen to the younger generation when they're no longer able to actually write a letter. Right?
Write a letter, or maybe your computer, or maybe computers will go away at some point. We won't have them. And then what are you going to do? You're not going to know how to use a pencil.
Well, computers do now actually have the option to use cursive.
That's right.
Yeah, but it's kind of that fake-looking cursive. Yeah. So Ellen wrote, as children, we spent the summers away in the mountains and took on a new passion, writing letters to and receiving them from friends. We had been learning cursive writing, and we loved that. You could tell who wrote the letter even before you read it. Yep. Somehow the writing marked our entrance into adulthood. I'm wondering how much of the joy would have been missing had we exchanged today's text messages looking just like everyone else's. Of course, it's faster, but the allure is missing, she writes.
Oh, interesting.
Which is a good point. I mean, that is true. You would be always able to tell who the letter was from when it arrived just by looking at the envelope.
Exactly, exactly. Oh, wow, that's different.
And so more of Ellen's column is available on page 2 of today's Globe.
Perfect. Okay, good. What else?
And then we finally come to everybody's favorite segment, which is the letters to the editor. Today, letters are mostly all positive, which is nice to see. They include a thank you to Laguna Woods bus drivers, a thank you to the Comedy Club for a fabulous show, a thank you to the maintenance crew for clearing a fallen tree quickly, and a letter from Milton Feldon, who writes, I was blown over by a gust of wind on Saturday's storm on February the 2nd while walking to the village library at 11 a.m. and landed on my back on the sidewalk near the stairway in the pouring rain.
Oh no,
oh my.
serious?
That's horrible.
Yikes.
Some kind gentleman whose name I don't remember saw me and called 911. They arrived about 5 minutes later and rescued me. She says she writes the letter to gratefully thank the gentlemen and the paramedics and the staff at Hogue for all their help and to remind all villagers that there are good Samaritans all over.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
That's great.
And maybe the unknown gentleman will hear this or read it in the paper and come forward, and they might have a reunion.
Maybe they will. That's excellent. All right, good stuff.
Yeah.
Now, this is not in the Globe, but because you have the cool stuff that you do with the military, let's talk about what happened at Camp Pendleton.
Yeah. So last week, the 1st Marine Division had its 78th anniversary. And that meant Marines from all over the nation, including here Southern California and in Orange County, went out to Camp Pendleton and took tours around the base. They visited some of the units that they may have served in and talked to the young Marines. A lot of them were very impressed with the Marines and talked about how they were smarter than when the veterans were in the Marine Corps. And they were impressed with all the technology and the changes in the vehicles and the artillery that the Marine Corps uses. One of the highlights for the Marines was going out on the range and shooting live weapons. And so a lot of Marines who served in World War II, Korea, Vietnam, were able to shoot M16s, which weren't around during their era. And so a lot of them were very, very excited to be able to do that. It was really a neat experience to be able to see some of these veterans go back up, and a lot of them, needed some help, and the Marines who on the range showed them how to fire or hold the weapon, and then kind of stabilize some of them who needed help, and they had a lot of really, really fun time with that.
That's nice. Yeah. Did they actually go through like a little training ahead of time?
No,
they just threw them right in.
They sure did. I stood back.
Yeah, really. You're the one behind the camera, so that worked out. Well, that's really cool that you got to do that.
One really interesting note actually was a veteran who, as part of the 1st Marine Division, is the oldest veteran the one of the only remaining veterans who served at Guadalcanal, which was the first conflict for the Marine Corps during World War II. Was able to carry during the rededication ceremony, he carried the streamer, the battle streamer for Guadalcanal, out as the first one out. Later on, that was a ceremony they held at the base on Friday. And that was really impressive. He was 95 years old from Daytona Beach, Florida.
Oh, that's
so
great.
excited to go out and do it.
Oh, that's really nice. Well, thank you for that report. I like that, and I'm glad that you're going to be able to help us see more of that. Now, that is a story that's in the Orange County Register, right?
That is in the Orange County Register, and you can find it under my byline, Erica Ritchie, at ocregister.com, and you'll be able to read all about it and some other military stories.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
And remember, you can always get your copy of the Globe on the 1st floor of the Community Services Building. We'll be right back.